Thanks for tuning in to the Nindie Nation podcast, your weekly dose of everything independently developed for the Nintendo Switch. I'm Jeff, and this week you might hear him throwing mad scientists into the walls as they blood splatter all over the place. But if you hear all that commotion, welcome back, Josh.
The beard is back. Hi, Jeff.
Let's see, Jacob doesn't have a beard, but Eric does.
No. Eric has a very nice beard.
Eric's got a beard that you could go live in.
Thank you, Eric and Jacob, for coming on. You did an awesome job, awesome episodes. But Jacob, I gotta get back to you, man.
He's throwing some shade right there.
I know, right at the beginning too. I was like, dude, that's not right. I'm gonna have to come on another episode. And, you know,
I'll have to come back to my podcast again. Well, for those who are new to the Nindie Nation, every week we'll talk to you about the games that we're playing, the games that we think you should be giving a shot, and in the second half, as always, we will run through the new releases in the coming week and the games that are currently on sale that you cannot afford to miss. And spoiler, this week's a really good list of games, so stay tuned for that. But before we get into that, Josh, why don't you tell me about what you've been keeping your Joy-Con synced with this week?
I've had a few weeks off. Haven't done too much playing, but there are a few gems that I did play, so I want to make sure to highlight those. Like I said, I'm getting ready for a big move, big life change here, so I just needed a few weeks just to get some things straightened away. Where everything's moving along smoothly. I'll probably take a few weeks off at the end of this month too, so I'm sure you will find some awesome guests to have on that knows something about Nindie games. But like I said, I'll be joining you in the desert coming next month, so I can't wait. But what's been keeping my Joy-Cons linked is this game called Ape Out.
Ooh,
and
that's a big one. Devolver,
yes, we all know Devolver. They make just outstanding games as it is. Can be ultra violent, and this one's no exception. This is probably one of my favorite games I played this year. It's very short, but the style and just the way it plays, controls, it has a very Hotline Miami-like feel to it, but it's more contained and straightforward. So pretty much you're an ape, and you escaped, and you're throwing scientists, grabbing them. They'll shoot once when you grab them, then you can throw them at enemies. But what's really neat is the soundtrack, and there's a full orchestrated jazz soundtrack. As you throw them, hit them, grab them, there's cymbal bashes and this awesome jazz-like tune. It comes highly recommended. I've been having a blast with it, and just the style alone, like they have this sort of low poly realistic like vibe to it. It's really cool. And then when you die, it shows how far you've gone. It scans out where goes all the way out, and it's just
And if you retry, because aren't most of them randomly generated?
Yeah, most of them are.
So if you retry, will that level be the same? Like if you die, will the level be the same?
The levels, so they have a general, like there's checkpoints that you get to that are the same, like to introduce new mechanics, like you grab this metal door, you grab it off, then you can use it as a shield. And then when you get to different areas, like they turn off the lights, and then it's like this monochromatic art style that changes to, and then there's just flashlights. And then there's like when these alarms go off, it just turns red and black, and it's familiar yet wholly unique, and one of those experiences that you should definitely check out.
That's really cool. I'm hearing tons of great things about Ape Out, especially the soundtrack. I mean, it's got so much unique styling to it. The visuals,
that's one of the best parts.
Having a drummer next to you. I'm assuming I went into this episode, looked at the rundown, and said, "All right, what music am I going to be pulling this week?" It's always good to know for how I'm speaking the intro, what kind of music will likely be in the background. And this week I thought it has to be Ape Out. Yeah, it has to be.
It's perfect. And I just want to throw out RKG, which was formerly Prepare to Try. The guys from that series, they played this, and you should go on YouTube and watch it if you're on the fence about it, because it's absolutely hilarious, because they have a live jazz band playing with the movement. It's hysterical. Like, they're freaking really out. Cool. They're all dressed up in this like jazz garb, and
That's really
It's
cool.
only like 10 minutes long, but it's great, and it gives you an idea of what the game is. So, highly recommend watching that. Then next I have Unruly Heroes, and this one came about. Came out a few months ago, and Titus wanted to play Rayman Legends, which is a fantastic game on its own. But I wanted to try something different. I said, hey, this game's sort of like Rayman Legends. I think it's by the same team that did the art style for it, because
there's a lot of similar people involved.
Right, and it's from Magic Design Studios. But it has that Rayman feel. It's 2D. The art style's like it, but it has more of this feudal Japan-like look. But there are these anthropomorphic animals, that like a baboon, and then a pig that can float with its ears, and there's a lot more combat involved. Like the enemies have health bars as you hit them, and there's light puzzle elements too. And they each have their own powers that you can use at certain times to get past obstacles. But I'm not too far in it. But what I played, I really enjoyed. So if you're a fan of Rayman Legends, then it's probably something you should check out.
If you're playing 2-player or if you're playing 1-player, are only the player-controlled characters on screen, or do you have like all 4 of the characters out there at all times?
That's a good question. Yeah, you have you have 2, but then you can switch. So if it was just me and Titus playing, but we could switch between the other 2 characters at will. And if you're playing single player, you can switch between all 4. And it's a 4-player game, so everyone could be one of the characters.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of like experience or leveling system, or is it pretty much an action platformer?
It's pretty much an action platformer.
Okay.
There were no leveling up, but you do get, as you have this power meter that you charge up as you defeat enemies or get attacked, and when that fills up, each character has like a special attack move that they can do, which is really cool. Like the pig turns into like this spinning circle of destruction that just decimates anything that gets in there. Bacon death. Raining down.
That's cool. I really want to play that game. That was one of the ones that stood out for me from that highlight videos. And then that was a shadow drop when it came out like a month or so ago. I want to check in on that here in a little bit and see if you've played it anymore, because that's one that's been on my radar for a while.
Sure thing. I'm enjoying it. So next I have this game called Sky Hill from Mandragora Studios. And this one, it's a different type of title. This is more RPG. So you start off on the 100th floor, and there's like this zombie apocalypse that happened. You're in this VIP suite, and your goal is to get to the bottom. And the closest I've gotten is like level 70, because it gets ridiculously hard.
So is that the game that Eric and I were talking about, that you look at it from the side, it looks kind of like a Fallout shelter, and it's a similar premise to like Cloverfield? Yeah,
it is, because as you go down the building, there's 3 rooms, and then there's an elevator in the center. And there's a lot of survival elements, like you have to find items, and there's these weird deformed enemies that you fight, and you can choose to attack their body, limbs, or head. And if you attack their head, you do deal more damage, but you're also
massive
going to
damage. One might say,
massive.
damage. So is it good? You like it? I mean, I was interested in that one too.
Yeah, it's brutally difficult though. Like I said, I played multiple rounds and only made it as far as 70. But what you do, you don't want to. You get like health items and things like that. You have a food meter, and if that goes down, then your health slowly depletes, so you need to keep that up. But then as you get further down, you're able to find like copper and wire, and then you can go back up to your VIP suite and make like better ways to harness or cook different recipes that you can combine food and then combine items and then build up your little fort up there, so that when you rest, you gain more health, or the food you consume gives you more energy. And because if you just eat it as it is, then you gain some energy, but you don't gain near as much. So that's part of the hook, is that you have to go back each time and make it better, or else you will not get that far. So I'm starting to get into the groove of it, I think. So I could probably get further. It's fun, and it's very challenging, but if you're not a patient type of gamer, I could see this being one that you probably wouldn't enjoy.
Yeah.
So But I like survival games and difficult experiences, hence with Darkest Dungeon. So
right
up my alley.
For the next game that we're going to discuss, I just realized if I'm going to throw in Ape Out's music, we cannot talk about this game without the sweet funk grooves playing in the background. So, DJ, kick the music here. All right.
There it goes.
What was the next game?
Yes, this is our love letter to past gaming and ToeJam and Earl Back in the Groove by Human Nature Studios. And I love it. I can understand the faults, okay? It's not a perfect game. And there's some weird glitchy stuff that happens. But man, is it fun.
It is.
It's just fun.
Yes, it is. It's just enjoyable to play. It's a good time.
It's and it's like you said, it's a game you can just play and just turn on and enjoy. You don't have to be set with an agenda. You're just there to enjoy it. That's what I love most about the game.
And so I think, I've actually been surprised by how many people, when I say there's a new ToeJam and Earl, how many people that I didn't even know played games immediately knew. I mean, it was a very unique game back in the day, but it's interesting. It was really ahead of its time back in the day because the game is a roguelike. It plays out looking at it top-down or isometric perspective. You play as... Does it have 4-player? Can you play 4? I know you can do 2-player, of course.
Yeah, that's a good question. I have not tried.
I don't know if it does 4-player.
I think I've read somewhere that it's 1 through 4 players. I think on the site says that. So
yeah, but anyways, you are a group of funky aliens. The whole game, the original one, was based on the premise of like late 80s, early 90s hip-hop, funk culture, pop culture, and just poking fun at that. And so they took that and added a few pieces of flair from modern day into it. But all you're doing is these 4 aliens crash their Rapmaster 5000 spaceship into Earth, and it looks nothing like Earth. It looks like islands floating in black abyss, but...
Yeah. It's funny, there's a light story where I guess he pushes the wrong button, and then everything gets mixed up in like a washer, and then it comes out as layers.
Yeah, they create a black hole, there's a washing machine, and all that. But the goal of the game is you are exploring these randomly generated worlds, looking for the 10 pieces of your ship. And it really is all built around, like, there's not combat per se, it's presents. What are you walk around, you find presents. A lot of times you have to guess at what they are, and then you'll know it going forward. So kind of like Binding of Isaac in that way. What are some of your favorite presents that you've seen? Well, abilities, weapons, anything.
Going back to the past, the Icarus ruins are just the best. That's the best way to traverse the islands. Of course, you have the rocket skates.
Yep. And then you got the evil rocket skates that don't let you control it as well.
Yeah.
It can send you flying.
There's a lot of different variations. Like presents can be broken and you have to fix them, and there's like powered up ones that last longer or have more of a duration. Yep. It's funny, they just pack in so much nostalgia, but also have enough new. Like I'm still running into presents that like new stuff that I didn't even know about. Like there's this one that just it points to you, makes these loud noises, and it's like, okay, here you are, and then all the enemies know where you're at and come after you. And then there's also the dance-offs from ToeJam and Earl, Panic on Funkatron, and then the whatever zones that you go into.
The hyper-funk zone.
Yeah, they have those in there too. It's just like all this stuff that we grew up loving about the games is just in there, plus all this new stuff, and it's bringing it to a whole new audience.
Yeah.
And Titus and I had a blast playing it, and then Eli wanted to play too. Once he's like, I don't want to play that. And then when he saw it, he's like, oh man, that's
it's funny. I mean,
it's funny.
The kids, I showed it to Charlotte, my daughter, and when she saw it initially, she was like, that doesn't look very fun. And I was like, watch this, I can make them fart.
Yeah, this root beer here.
Yeah. It's a great game. Who's your favorite character to play as?
I'm always Earl for some reason, just because he has a
can
large.
eat the food. He can eat all food. That's really helpful.
Yeah, that he doesn't get affected by bad food as much. Plus, he has a large health bar. He's just slow.
He is slow.
But there's also a nice level up mechanic that they've added.
And that's new, isn't it?
That's new.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that the roguelike elements of, that's what's great about it, is that you got the leveling up, and then once you reach a new level and get a ship piece, then there's also this thing that you get bonuses, and there's a lot of things that don't take away from the experience but add to it, which makes it fresh at the same time. And
I've found the game is more fun if you're playing it with somebody else, but I have found it is absolutely just, it's perfectly enjoyable solo as well. And
there's so many different enemies too. They bring back the naked guy in the cardboard box. And the evil mad scientist,
the opera lady. I like the opera lady. And
they have friendly humans too, that like the carrot man, or the wise man that grants you the levels, and then the one that heals you, and
I like
Gandhi,
the boogeyman bad guy. He makes the exact same sound effect he did in the Genesis, the boogie boogie boogie.
Yeah, exactly. The boogeyman comes back.
Yep. It's a great game. I really hope that if people are listening to this podcast and they're interested in unique experiences on their Switch, even if you're going to play on another platform, I really think ToeJam and Earl, it's a great game to play in addition to whatever big epic game you're playing. You can load that up. You can play a little bit. They added a save mechanic so you can actually stop mid-game and come back to that same one. There's multiple slots, so you can actually have a lot of games going on at once. But I think that's a great game if you're playing, I don't know, Devil May Cry 5 right now.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great game to have on the side, or Far Cry New Dawn. If you're playing at one of the big AAA games out there on a different platform, pick up ToeJam and Earl, because it's a fun palate cleanser in between other sessions, and you can get a ton out of it in a short amount of time.
Right on. Yep.
So on my end, I picked up last week. I also picked up a game that I was debating about a couple of weeks ago. Has a demo available. Game is Xenon Valkyrie Plus, and it's created by one guy, and he goes by the developer named Diabolical Mind, and the publisher, it's actually a couple of guys that are in the process of porting his 3 or 4 games over to the Switch. They're called Cowcat. All of his games look immediately interesting to me. They're all genres that are very heavily saturated on the Switch. You've got a twin-stick top-down shooter, and then Xenon Valkyrie Plus is a side-scrolling roguelike Metroidvania kind of game. But, it hits all the notes. It is side-scrolling, retro art style, roguelike mechanics, RPG elements. Gets the cheer.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's a sci-fi setting. You can pick from a couple of different characters, and you play through 2 levels that are fairly randomly generated. You get a boss. Before buying the game, the criticism that I saw online for it was that it just gets too hard, as in more of a design problem than a get good problem. And so I got the demo, I played through the first world, and I loved it, and then it said buy the game, and so I bought it right away, and I haven't beat the second world boss yet.
That's the trick.
I've barely and I've played it quite a few times. I've done probably 7 or 8 runs of it, and I haven't been able to get much further past the demo itself, but I continue to go back to it.
I think I played this on Vita.
Yeah, I came back a while ago.
It has a Risk, if you played Risk of Rain before, it sort of resembles that in a sense. But I think,
the character's tiny on the screen.
Yeah, you go, and instead of going up, you go down. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yep.
That's the whole gimmick of it, I guess, is that you're trying to get further down in the level.
Yeah, it was $10, and I think where I sit right now on it is when that game comes up for sale for $5 or $6 in the future, I'll heavily recommend it for that price.
Yeah.
You know, it's worth that price of a rental, but at $10, I think I want something that I'm positive I'm going to play a little bit more in the long run. I might not go back to it after something else comes out, but for the time being, I'm enjoying it. I thought for $10, Neurovoider, which is a different style game, but a lot of the same elements, I thought Neurovoider was better than Xenon Valkyrie. That was a game I played for the show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then I've been playing 2 other Nindies that had really big patches recently. And so I wanted to touch on those real quick. Dead Cells had a really big patch rollout last week called the Pimp My Run edition. And the general premise is that they realized a massive amount of their gamers had never beat the final boss, and there's a ton of content after you beat the final boss. In fact, beating the game, quote unquote, is more aligned to beating the final boss 4 times, like in sequence. And so there's a lot more content there, and they wanted people to see it. So they made there be a lot more stuff after beating the first boss, but also tried to make it a little easier to get to the final boss. And so it adds tons of stuff. Like every category of the game, there's more weapons, more mutations, more abilities, there's more everything. And then they add in a couple of balances that make certain elements easier. And I have done a couple of runs so far. I haven't beaten it yet, but that's my goal. And man, that game felt so good to get back into.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I was going to be able to fall right back in, and
like you said, this new patch, it seems like it'd be perfect for me. Just because I felt like I was making progress by gaining new items and unlocking new things, but I never felt like I was getting over that hump.
Yeah.
Now it feels like I might be able to.
And I don't know if you were like me, but around the time I fell off the game, you know, as you play through the levels, you're collecting those orbs. And on like a really good run, you might get 40 or 50 or maybe even 60 of those orbs. And that's how you unlock your permanent upgrades. In my first run with the new patch, I got 115 cores or orbs in that first run. And so they really they probably realized that a lot of people were stopping playing the game before like they got health flask level 4 or some of the things that cost like 4, 5, 600 orbs to acquire. And so I can already see, you know, a low-hanging fruit that I can get that'll make the game more enjoyable overall. So it's a really good release, and it's absolutely a good reason to dive back into the game if you loved it and you just stopped playing it because other things came out and you were starting to lose interest. It's a great way to get back in.
Cool.
In addition, when Dragon Marked for Death came out last month, I had some criticisms of it, primarily around it being built way too much for online play, and it was way too grindy in the sense that you were aimlessly running around, like spending 3-4 minutes at a time running across a level, not doing anything else, no combat or platforming or anything, and that you were replaying the same stuff over and over and over and over and over, and usually that doesn't bother me. So they just put out patch 1.3 about 2 days ago and really said they tried to address all of that. And I don't... they need like 1.5. It's not the same. They did do that better, but I am leveling up faster. I started a new character, but I just feel like the structure of the game is still ultimately the same. It's still like a big commitment of time for not a ton in return unless you're telling yourself... Really, unless you're going to play it like an MMO. Like, I'm going to put 5 hours into this every night, and I'm going to play it with 3 friends that were doing it all together and that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I've been playing it a little bit. Played it some last night, the night before. I'll probably play it a little bit this weekend. But I'm going to try it again when the next patch comes out, because there's just some issues with the game, but underneath that, it's an awesome game that's really fun to play. It's just missing a couple of things.
Yeah, it's definitely, it held my interest, but I'm not sure if just because of what you said, it being more of a multiplayer experience, I'm not sure if I should give this a go. But
yeah, you still haven't picked it up?
no, I was, just because, like you said, they create awesome games, but it just doesn't seem like my cup of tea, unfortunately.
Yeah, it almost feels like Inti Creates tried to make a AAA game. Like, they thought bigger and longer and badder and awesomer was the way to go, because all the mechanics and all the stuff that they do really well is there and it's good, but then it's just kind of in, like, big empty worlds that aren't interesting and way too long. So, plus that whole thing of chopping the character roster in half and putting it as 2 SKUs, they need to cut that out. They need to release... Yeah. They need to either cut those DLCs in half or give you a discount if you have one, $5 more to get the other 2 characters. And I'm sure they'll do that eventually, and that's probably when I'll get the rest of them.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, anyways, good stuff this week. Let's talk about a few of the games that have come out since we last recorded, and then we'll dig into stuff that's coming out soon.
Out now, so you can get right on the eShop and pick these right up. And the first one is a doozy, because it's Assault Android Cactus Plus by Witchbeam, and it's going for $19.99. And I played this on my Xbox One or PS4. I think it was on my Xbox One, but it's already been released before. And this is just a very, very addictive twin-stick shooter. It has some great graphics, a cute sort of art style. Like, it'll appeal to kids and stuff, but it still has like the complexity and difficulty of those types of games. And like I said, it's been out for a few years now. It was first on Steam, then came to consoles. And instead of health, you have a battery, and as you get hit, it drains, and once it gets to the bottom, you fail a stage.
So there's like an encouragement to go fast and blow everything up instead of really stopping to think,
and
right?
It's continuously draining, but you can power it up. Like you said, if you get hit, then it goes down more faster. And yeah, it's sort of like Sinmora EX. That's that side-scrolling shooter where you have a certain time to get through the stage and you're not damaged per se by enemy bullets or anything. But it just goes down faster as you get hit. So it has that going for it. And it's cool because when you select stages, you're like Kirby's World or something. You're on a map that you can run around, or Super Mario World 3D World, where you jump into stages that way, which looks pretty cool. So... Yeah, it's a fun game. If you like twin stick shooters, then it's perfect. But if not, that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's got enough things to pull me in. But now that you say it's on Xbox, I might see if it's on Game Pass. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Also out now, we have Paper-Bound Brawlers by Dissident Logic. Did you look at this one at all?
No. Sounds pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it looks neat. It's got it's a up to 4-player brawler, kind of a hack and slash thing, but each world is also a really big puzzle, and it reminds me a lot of older Nintendo NES games, not because of the way it looks, but because of the way it played out in the videos I watched, where you're bouncing from the floor to the ceiling, but then there's like spinning platforms in the middle, so you've got to time when you're changing your gravity mechanic while getting through each level. And then it had a bunch of indie game characters in it, like Juan from Guacamelee was running around in one of the levels. So yeah, he sure is. He gets around. So it looks neat, and it launches for $14.99, and it is out now.
Sweet. Next, we have Proficient Paddles Deluxe from Cyclone Studios, and this is $2.79. But
wait for it.
It's basically Pong, and that's all it is Pong. If it's sort of like Shatter, what Shatter did for the PS4, that game was so awesome because it takes a simple brick breaking scheme and amped it up, but I guess this is not what
This looks like Pong, but the paddles look like lightsabers.
So it like glows and it looks pretty.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I don't know. It could be fun to have Pong on your Switch for like 5 minutes.
What's wrong with Pong, right? It's been around forever.
Yeah. We also have, finally, Monument Builders Rushmore by Microids, launched for $5.59. It's a simulation builder game, just like your Sim Cities or a theme park or Roller Coaster Tycoon, those kind of things. But the goal is to build Mount Rushmore.
Cool. Can you, like, make it out of our faces or something?
I don't know. That would be awesome, though.
Or like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or wouldn't that be perfect?
Were you just going for like 4 things in a group? That's perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe I would do that. Monument Builders, Rush Turtle, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Rushmore.
Yeah, we need the turtles and more things. Okay. Well, let's get on to the next week releases through March 14th. And we'll start with March 12th. And we have Claybook by Second Order for $14.99. It's a puzzle-based game, and it's all about molding clay. And you get like a ball, you can have like a square, and as you roll over the colors, it makes like the colors mix and match, and it has you go through different courses, puzzles to solve that way by building yourself up, and
it's really unique looking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of features. I mean, it has multiplayer, leaderboards, achievements, and yeah, there's a lot of challenges. So pretty much a full-fleshed puzzle-like game for $14.99. So.
Mm-hmm. A big one that was highlighted in last indie videos, also coming out on March 12th, Baba Is You by Himpuli. Launches for $15. Do you remember Baba Is You? We talked about this a few months ago.
Yeah, it looks like an Undertale like thing.
It does.
Like it doesn't look special, but then when you see the gameplay mechanics, like you're mixing and matching words to, like you can make yourself a key to get through somewhere, or there's a lot of different variations. It seems like it's got
some of that scribble knots almost to it, where I guess you go to the puzzle level, and so Baba Is You is an example of like, that's the phrase at the top of the screen, that's the puzzle you have to solve, but you could change the words. So it looks cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the reviews for this one. Maybe you guys will get a code for it and you'll get to try it out.
Yeah, I'd be up for it. Then we have Bonds of the Skies by Kemco for $11.69. And this pretty much looks like a 16-bit JRPG with some very traditional Dragon Quest style mechanics. Just the basic tropes of that genre. Hometown burning, funny-looking cute dragon friend, fighting a bunch of different types of monsters, krakens, exploring a forgotten forest, and solving a relationship between humans and gods.
As one would. If I could look this up and see that it's like a 10-hour game, I might get this.
Kemco makes some good games.
They have.
Like, they're nothing special, but
and I could go for a grindy traditional RPG right now. I'm really jonesing for more Cosmic Star Heroine. Ever since I beat that, like, I want another RPG to grind through right now, and I haven't found anything to pique my interest yet.
Sure. I don't blame you for that.
We also have on the 12th Dusty Raging Fist by PD Design Studio. Launches for $10. And this one's also very interesting, I think. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up. It's got a comic book art style to it that's really nice looking. 3 different characters that have like a different variation of melee or ranged attacks, depending on, what kind of style you're into. The thing that it seems to bring to the mix is as you go through the levels, you can pick up various elements or items that you use to build up like a summon mechanic. So then you can use that thing as like a support character in the beat 'em up stages. So that seems like a neat little unique take on it. And for $10, it looks really fun. So I've got that one on my wish list.
Yeah, we could always use more beat 'em ups. They're just fun experiences.
Always.
There's always a new one each week on the eShop anyway, so gotta find the diamonds in the rough there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Recall by Rising Star Games for $19.99. And I think they showed this off maybe at a Nintendo Nindie Direct or something like that.
One of them, yeah. I don't remember which one it was.
But yeah, I remember thinking that I don't know. Nothing really stood out because basically it's like a first-person co-op shooter, like Payday or something like that. But all you're doing is clearing rooms and maybe defusing some bombs. The story, plays out like those big action movies like Lethal Weapon, Bad Boys, Die Hard.
Yeah, a buddy cop movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it like I said, you team up with 4 other players and you're pretty much clearing out rooms. It's just a first-person shooter, basically.
Yeah,
so.
It doesn't look spectacular, but the buzz that I hear around it, like I'm wondering if it does something a little more than what meets the eye.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of people that are digging it so far, so I'm going to keep my eye on it. But again, shooters I don't play many of, and online multiplayer are very even less common for me.
Right.
There's a lot of good games coming out this week. This one looks really interesting. Launching for $5 by developer 7 Levels is Golf Peaks. And it is a golf game that is maybe half mini golf, half traditional golf, almost like Golf Story, where it's like it's video gamey golf, not necessarily any kind of specific golf. But the catch is that all of the levels that you're playing are stacked on top of each other, like an MC Escher painting, those weird perspective paintings, and you're going up a mountain. And so there's a lot of like understanding the elevation, and when you get the ball into the cup, you go like vertically up to the next level, and it looks neat. It's got a cool, very MC Escher art style, very polygonal and stuff. But for $5, it might be one that I give a shot out.
Yeah, I like the look of it too. It reminds me, I like the uniqueness of it, and golf games are always fun to play anyway if they're done right. And at $4.99, that's a perfect price.
Yeah.
Then we have the Red Strings Club, and this is also from Devolver Digital for $14.99. And this basically, I think they showcased this one a little bit too. It's a cyberpunk narrative experience about fate and happiness, and it features the extensive use of pottery.
Right?
So
whatever that means.
There's a lot. Yeah, it looks really unique. So that's one I'll be keeping my eye on.
That reminded me a lot of, was it Ratalaika or Dragius? I think it was Dragius that recently released Tardy.
Yeah.
Did you ever try that out?
I didn't have the chance to. Did you?
No, I didn't. The games look very, very similar, and now that there's kind of 2 similar competing, I want to take a look at both of them. But that's not really my bag typically.
Right.
We also have Motorsport Manager by Curve Digital for $15. It's a racing game without the racing.
My goodness.
You're the manager of like a pro race car driver, and so you do like the picking where you're going to race and upgrading the cars and all the great stuff about a driving game, except for that pesky driving the car.
People are really into these manager games, though. Like Soccer Manager or Football Manager. I mean, there's definitely an audience for them.
I think Curve is someone that does a lot of those.
Yeah. Motorsports, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that are important for racing cars. So
Sure.
Oh, yes. Next, we have the Caligula Effect Overdose from NIS America. And this is retailing for $50. So
I love the way you said that. You were like, this is retailing for $50.
No, it's funny because this is originally on Vita.
Oh, okay.
It was just the Caligula Effect, but now it's Overdose because it's their, amped up edition. It's a story-based JRPG about addiction and escape. It takes place in alternate reality. where there's the real world and the alternate world, and you play as this band of school kids who get sucked into the alternate dimension. They're actually controlling humans.
Anime Matrix?
Yeah, sort of in that sense. And the combat system, you get to map out what you're going to do, and it plays it out. And then it plays out what the enemy's doing. Then you can modify it if there's something you don't like. And you get there's a certain amount of time you get to do that. It's a unique take, but the little I played of it, I didn't really care for it.
That's fair.
It's just too anime.
Yeah,
it can be too much sometimes, and I didn't really like the combat system. I don't think, but $50. That's
that's NIS though. Their games are made for a very specific fan base. And this one must have done well if it's getting a re-release.
Right.
We also have on the 12th Bombfall by Takorama for $6.50. It's a fast-paced arcade game about a bomb falling from the sky, and you're trying to run into all the clouds you can while avoiding certain hazards and picking up power-ups before you ultimately, hit a target. And so you're just looking at the bomb fall from the side, avoiding some things, trying to hit other things. It looks a lot like Ridiculous Fishing and some of those other iPhone games to me.
That's funny. I about said Bad Fever Dream, but this is Bad Dream Fever by Forever Entertainment for $9.99. And this is a point-and-click adventure, so it has a tan color to it. And it's about a plague, and it has a creepy people wearing these creepy plague-like masks. And, it hits all the things that might be appeal to me with Darkest Dungeon. So I'll look more into this because I haven't seen anything about it. But
yeah, it looked like a Josh game.
I like how everything that's really dark and just gruesome is a Josh game.
Anything that, basically in that corner of my mind, it's like point and click or cultish, weird Lovecraftian.
Witch Doctor. Yeah, Lovecraft.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff where I'm like, that's a Josh game.
Bloodborne is my jam too, so you are right.
Yep. And anything that's a Souls-like, of course.
Yes. Dark and gritty. We love it.
Let's see. Finally, we also have Twist and Match by Sanic Games for $3. And it's a puzzle game about, maneuvering shapes into a shadow on the screen. So you're just, perspective, moving things around it.
Neat. And hey, don't forget Little Shopping by Ultimate Games, where it's a game for kids about shopping and spending money and counting. You gotta love that.
Gotta. And then another game meant for kids, Teddy the Wanderer by Forever Entertainment, launches for 10 bones. And it's like a mini game collection about kids that are on a hiking, camping, adventure thing. So got a couple of games there for
kids.
The kids.
Just go camping and hiking without playing video games.
Because, that's very true. Because, if you have a Nintendo Switch and you're trying to get your kids into the gaming, that's really tough because, unfortunately, Nintendo doesn't make any of the video games that would appeal to a small child.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
of
what?
Course,
Right. It's anyways, there's a couple of really good things coming out this week that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff this week. For me, I'm looking forward. If we had to go back, like you said, a Soul Android Cactus, which is already out, but Baba Is You, that's one that had me interested.
I'm interested in that Bonds of the Skies RPG. It looked unique. I'm also interested in Dusty Raging Fist, good beat 'em up, and Golf Peaks looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the games that are on sale this week.
Let's start off with the SteamWorld games. Woo! All of them are on sale. So there's no excuse now not to get these. Because we have SteamWorld Dig for 70%, which is $2.99. Don't buy any of those $2.99 games up there. Buy this.
Yeah, for $3, that's the game you get.
SteamWorld Dig 2 is 50% off for $9.99, which is a great price. And Heist, one of my favorite games of the past few years, is 70% off at $5.99. So, might be my favorite SteamWorld game.
That game is so much fun. Buy them all for less than $20.
Exactly.
Overcooked is half off for $10. And Ultimate Chicken Horse is 30% off for $10.49 if you're looking for a cartoony but gory multiplayer game to laugh at. You've got two different options there. Ultimate Chicken Horse is a little more gory. Overcooked is going to make your whole family hate each other.
So pick your poison. We have Gris. And it just had a big content update, by the way. Is 15% off for $14.44. And that's one that kept me interested. I don't think that's enough a discount for me to bite the bullet yet.
Not quite yet.
But yeah, it looks great. And Super Hyperactive Ninja, which looks like a fun side-scrolling action game, is 89% off for 98 cents.
I try to get in the habit of just buying those cheap games every once in a while just to see if there's a diamond in the rough. There usually isn't, but you never know.
Yeah.
There's also The Flame and the Flood is half off for $7.49. Didn't you play that and like it?
I played a very little bit
okay.
on the PS4. I don't have it for Switch.
Fair enough. Oxenfree is 75% off, which is a big discount for that game, and it's $5.
Yeah, that was a great adventure game.
How long is it?
It's not too long, actually. If you just go straight forward through it, there's a lot of story beats that you can find and explore.
Like side content and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, but it stays pretty linear, all pretty much. But it's a nice paranormal, galaxy-like spanning quest that goes really off the rails, which is really cool.
That's neat.
Then we have The Escapist 1 and 2. Both are 50% off. 1 is $7.49 and 2 is $9.99. And the cool thing about these games is there's just so much content packed in, like many different ways to escape and different prisons to get out of, and it gets harder. And
Guacamelee is 40% off for $8.99.
There you go.
I find it hard to believe that you wouldn't have that. Just about any video gamer has that for free on some platform because it's been out there on like PlayStation Plus and Xbox. But if you don't have it, $8.99, get it. That way you can play it and love it and get Guacamelee too because they're both phenomenal. Death Road to Canada is 40% off for $8.99.
Death Road to Canada it's sort of a top-down sort of it has survival elements to it. No, I've heard good things about this too. So
it does look kind of cool.
That is probably worth the price, actually.
Oh wow, it's got a 9 out of 10 on Steam. So yeah, wow. There you go.
Sweet. Then we've talked about this game, Video Kid, for 50% off, $2.49. Can't really go wrong there. This is like a nostalgia trip, Paperboy-like clone with references up the wazoo as you play. So
yeah, that was really fun to point out when we were playing it for Extra Life. You can go check that out in our stream.
That's
on
true.
YouTube.
That's true. And we have The Walking Vegetables, which is 75% off for $3.24. You really enjoyed this one, Jeff.
I did. I think that I put that one somewhere towards the bottom of my top 20 Nindies, and so it's a great game. Really fun. Absolutely worth it for $3.24 if you want a twin stick shooter roguelike kind of game. I would say in that price point, that's the one to get. Also, a little game that I fell in love with, Vertical Drop Heroes, is 70% off for $2.99, and I put over 25 hours into that game.
I can't believe you got 25 hours into that.
I can't believe I did either, and I've only done like one run of the New Game Plus. Like, there's still a lot more to see in it.
Simple, but addictive.
I loved that stupid game. So lots of great stuff out there. I would love to put together, we should do a tweet that is for $26 you can get all these games, because that's a really good, you could do that really well this week, I feel like.
Oh yeah, I agree. There's a lot of good sales, so
yep,
you could go crazy with this week. There's really not a bad game on there.
No, there's a lot of stuff, and even if you're not looking at Nindies, Ubisoft is having a huge sale right now with all of their titles like half off, so there's even great AAA stuff out there as well, too.
Sweet.
Great stuff coming up soon. Great things out now. Good stuff on sale. And Josh, when are we going to see you next? You going to take another couple weeks off now?
No, I'll be on the next 2 weeks. And then at the end of the month, I'll be off for 2 more weeks because I'll be making the grand transition, moving, all that good stuff. So I'm sure we will have some awesome guests on, or maybe just have a week off there or two.
Yeah.
Something refresh. But I'm glad, it's great to be back. I've been missing it. This is like the one time where I get to talk about what I've been playing in the video game realms, and Switch is pretty much all I've been playing so far.
Oh, yeah. When you're in the middle of a move and all that stuff, that's where you're going to get your game time in for sure.
Right. It's just so easy and convenient. So thank God for Nindies.
Good. Well, if you want to keep tabs on Josh as he gallivants across the country, you can find him on Twitter at _the_Brant, BRANT. You can find me at Nindie Jeff. You can find us at Nindie Nation. We're also on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube has a couple of new, or fairly new, Let's Play videos of Dungeon Stars and Daggerhood, which Daggerhood is phenomenal. Have you played that game, Josh?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Simple,
awesome,
but effective.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that game. Played that one a couple more times since I got like halfway through it. You can also join us on the conversation in Facebook and talk to us on all the social media channels. It's a great way to get involved and hear about. We've been stockpiling a couple of codes. We want to give out some games. So you know what? If somebody listens to this and tweets at Nindie Nation and says, "Can I have a free game, please?" because they got to the very end of this week's episode.
That's a good idea.
The first person to do that, I will send you a code for a free game, and I might actually even let you pick from a couple of them.
Yeah, that way we know if people are listening to the end at least.
Yeah, it's almost like DRM for podcasts.
We're going to feel really crappy, though, if we don't get any responses.
Oh, please send us something. I'm gonna make a fake Twitter account and tweet at us.
Yeah.
And all of this lovely bandwidth is brought to you by the Nintendo Village. Josh, I don't think you've gotten to talk about the Nintendo Village since Nindie Zone, so why don't you give us the spiel?
No, you've done a great job of highlighting this awesome website that hosts us and many other great shows. Jacob Rush, who was on, has his Nintendo Nostalgia podcast through there, which you should check out. And just a lot of quality content. We have quick form reviews going up. They have a YouTube channel that has a lot of great content that you can games that you can watch Let's Plays for and stuff. So check that out.
Very, very good stuff coming up, especially in the world of Nindies for Nintendo Village. So, yes.
There's no slowing down now. We're on that Nindie train going.
Yeah,
going fast.
20 to 30 games a week. Bring it on.
That's right. But bring good stuff, please.
But bring good stuff. Yes, I agree there. Only the good games. Well, great, Josh. Best of luck to you as you continue your big life changes and all of that. We'll be here talking about the best indie games, the toddler indie games that you shouldn't buy, and everything in between. And so until next week, thanks for listening, and don't forget to keep those Joy-Cons synced.
Bye.